Coming out of the 49ers 36-24 victory in week 6 over the Seattle Seahawks, the team has 3 days off, and then they'll get back on the field Monday, start their preparations to face the Kansas City Chiefs. 49ers on a long week, the Kansas City Chiefs on a full bye week. So Kansas City not in action on Sunday. And then, of course, coincidentally or not, 49ers will be facing the Dallas Cowboys down the road. October 27th, Cowboys will be coming off their bye week. But probably the big thing that's going to happen on Monday will be Ricky Pearsall getting back on the practice field. The 49ers will be opening his practice window. And so from the moment that that window is open, he has 21 days to practice without there being any kind of urgency or anything else to put him on the 53-man roster. Now, a lot of times when guys come back and they open the practice window, they're immediately put back on the 53-man roster after they see him practice for a few times. That was the case with Kalia Davis, who started the season on IR. They had him practice, and then they immediately brought him up. For Ricky Pearsall, Kyle Shanahan said on Friday that they're going to probably use a longer ramp-up time for him because they just have to see how he is coming back after so many weeks of inactivity. The shooting incident happened on August 31st. He spent less than 24 hours in the hospital. It was a through and through shot wound that went through his chest area and out around his armpit. Before that, he had been dealing with a shoulder subluxation, his left shoulder. He was fully cleared to return to practice, and he had practiced several days before the incident where he went on the non-football injury list. So he was on pace to play week 1 of the regular season, and then he goes on NFI, and now he will be coming back to the 49ers, and he'll be on the field when the 49ers return to practice. So Ricky Pearsall, first-round draft pick, wide receiver, probably a little bit of a surprise that they took him there. I remember talking to someone on draft day who told me, and this is somebody who's well-known in NFL circles, he thought that the 49ers would go with a wide receiver, a good route running wide receiver in the first round of that draft. He thought it was going to be Ladd McConkey. Ends up being Ricky Pearsall. And what I saw from Ricky Pearsall in the offseason program and then the limited practice time he had in training camp, he looks to be all that as far as the route runner, the feet, the hands, and he just seemed to have a knack for immediately picking up in the offense. He's playing all the positions. And one of the things I really took note of was, after plays where he'd be on the field, basically the first team offense or the first team quarterback would run like 4 plays, and then the second team quarterback would come in, and then the third team quarterback. Anytime that he ran a route with Brock Purdy, he was always talking to him between in those breaks, finding out what the quarterback saw, what the quarterback expects out of him as a route runner, the adjustments, everything else. So it just looked like Pearsall was kind of this sponge for information, and it showed on the practice field, because the one thing I always look at, keeping stats in training camp is absolutely ridiculous, other than one thing. If the passes are going to a certain wide receiver, I think that's indicative of a trust that's being gained quarterback to receiver. The quarterback will never throw a pass to a guy who's running the wrong route or doesn't know what he's doing, or the timing is off, or he just doesn't have confidence in. And so the fact that a good number of passes while Pearsall was on the field were going in his direction, I think is a very good sign for Ricky Pearsall being able to step in and really not be stalled too long as far as being reacclimated into the offense. The question is, with the fourth wide receiver, how much playing time is he going to get when he gets out there and is activated to the 53-man roster? All that remains to be seen. The 49ers rookie class had a really good game on Thursday in that victory over Seattle. And of course, they did it without that first-round draft pick, Ricky Pearsall. And so, when you look at it, they basically had three guys starting in this game out of the rookie class. Dominic Pooney at right guard, who had a very good game, and then Malik Mustafa, the safety, who played very well and had an interception before he sustained a low ankle sprain and had to exit the lineup. And then Renardo Green basically was a starter. I don't think he was listed as starting that game, but the 49ers went with their nickel defense basically the whole time because of the wide receivers the Seattle Seahawks put out there, three quality wide receivers. So Renardo Green played a lot, 71 snaps on offense or on defense, four on special teams. He had six tackles, an interception, and two passes defensed. The other draft picks, Isaac Guerendo, 17 plays on offense, 10 on special teams. He had 10 carries for 99 yards, including that kind of the game clinching 76-yard run that where he may or may not have gone down on purpose. Jacob Cowing, punt returner, had just one snap on offense and four on special teams. And then draft pick Tatum Bethune, seventh round draft pick, one tackle, one fumble recovery, and then a couple of undrafted guys who were elevated from the practice squad. Jalen Mahoney, a backup safety, didn't play any on defense, but had 15 snaps on special teams. He had a tackle. And then also Evan Anderson, the big defensive tackle from Florida Atlantic. He played 13 snaps on defense, played very well, by the way, and three on special teams and had two tackles. The only so we talked about those guys. Those are the rookies. The 49ers also had two rookies in training camp that they opted not to keep on their 53-man roster. They wanted to bring them both back to the practice squad. But in the case of draft pick Jared Kingston, the Carolina Panthers claimed him. He has been inactive for each of the Panthers games thus far, so he has yet to make his NFL debut. And then the running back, Cody Schrader, who the 49ers opted to keep Patrick Taylor over him. The veteran Cody Schrader has been inactive for each of the Los Angeles Rams games. The Rams claimed Schrader off of waivers when the 49ers released him as part of that initial cut down to 53 players. Okay, I mentioned Mustafa earlier. He is considered day-to-day with a low ankle sprain, so that's very good news that it's not the dreaded high ankle sprain. So don't expect him to be out of action for too long. The other big one is Jordan Mason. He had an AC joint sprain on his shoulder. He is listed as day-to-day. What Kyle Shanahan said is we take it as good news. It doesn't guarantee that he'll be able to play against Kansas City, but it was definitely a positive that it wasn't any worse than that. So they're hoping that he'll be available to play against Kansas City. But if he's not, it's going to be Isaac Guerendo. It's going to be Patrick Taylor as the 49ers running backs. The other piece of injury information coming out of that game, the kicker, Matthew Wright, who stuck his shoulder in there to make a tackle. It sounds to me like it was a shoulder subluxation, which means it popped out, popped right back in. The MRI came back negative, which is a positive. That's a good thing. And so there wasn't any other damage to that shoulder. He is expected to be available to kick against Kansas City when the 49ers return to action on October 20th, because Jake Moody is expected to miss several more weeks with his high ankle sprain. That's on his kicking foot. Other injury stuff for the 49ers, Christian McCaffrey continues to rehab. They're continuing to ramp up his physical therapy with the bilateral Achilles tendonitis on both legs. They will not be opening up the practice window for him, so he is still some time away. My guess would be maybe they wait until after the bye week to figure out what they want to do there as far as the timing of when they bring him back, opening the practice window for him. Other guys who missed the game due to injuries, Jordan Elliott, the defensive tackle, he's continuing to rehab his knee. They'll evaluate him early in the week and then have a good idea whether he's going to be available for Kansas City. And then Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles, they're hoping to get him back. He missed the last two games with a calf injury. And then Charvarius Ward, who worked out before the game to see if he could go. He wasn't able to go. He is day-to-day. My guess is with 10 days off, it's looking pretty good for him to get back out there. He believes that if the 49ers had had a normal week instead of a Thursday game, that he would have been able to play if the 49ers were to play. I'm taping this on Saturday. So if they were able to play on Sunday, he feels like he could have played. As far as the running backs, Garindo and Patrick Taylor, Shanahan said he thought that they both did a really good job. They came in and he said the offense didn't miss a beat. The rhythm of the running game continued. He said they hit the right holes, they ran hard, and they made some plays. Um, Also, with Charvarius Ward out, 49ers cornerbacks really stepped up. And one of the things that Shanahan said that kind of struck me was that he talked about Isaac Yiadom, Renardo Green, and Diamador Lenore. And he said that those three guys might be the most competitive guys on the team. And I don't know if you saw the social media post with Diamador Lenore dancing at 3 a.m. when he found out that the 49ers held DK Metcalf to just 3 receptions in this game. I think he was targeted 14 times, and DK Metcalf only had 3 receptions against those guys, mostly those guys in coverage. Isaac Yiadom, Renardo Green, and Diamador Lenore. Okay, I did talk a lot about special teams in the last episode. Special teams were very good, except for when they were very bad. And the 49ers have made no secret they don't want to give up kickoffs. They don't want to give up kickoff returns. The goal for the kickers, Moody and Wright, kick the ball through the end zone. But as Kyle Shanahan said, that's easier said than done. Wright doesn't have the strong leg that Moody has. So I think as long as Matthew Wright is out there kicking, 49ers are going to have to tighten up that kickoff coverage, or that is, I was going to say, could be an issue, but it already has been an issue. The 49ers are just fortunate that it didn't result in a loss like some of their other special teams blunders have this season. And then I've talked a lot about the offensive line. I know that continues to be an area of concern for a lot of the fan base or a lot of the people who comment on my social media stuff, including this YouTube. But the offensive line was outstanding on Thursday night, and that's across the board. It was Trent Williams, it was Aaron Banks, Jake Brendel, Dominic Pooney, and Colton McKivitz. He said that what Kyle Shanahan said, our runners ran really hard and really well, but the O-line, I thought, just blocking wise, starting with the O-line, but the tight ends and the wide receivers as well. It was one of their better games. I thought it was a good defense we were playing against, and our guys just blocked extremely well. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing. Let's see if we can get up toward 7,000 subscribers. And then also a big shout out to Canyon Club Brewery in Moraga, coming soon to the Livery in Danville. A great spot. I'm there a lot. Stop by if you're in Moraga. Stop by Canyon Club. You'll like their outdoor courtyard beer garden. It's great. Great food, great beer, friendly staff, and tell Kevin and Jeremy that Matt sent you. So thanks again for tuning in, and that's it for now.